Welcome to Modern Conception. I'm Brittney Sobel, founder of It Is Sloan, and my co-founder, Amanda Zarowski, unfortunately is not here to join us today. She is accepting a well-deserved award, but she's very excited to listen in on this exciting episode with my friend Andy. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Brittney. You've got a good podcast voice.
Thank you. I'm going to introduce you. Andy Youmans is here today. I'm really excited because he's a friend and he's also a very interesting guy. I love speaking to you, Andy. So
Back at you.
Very excited. Andy founded and led a production and operations management consulting firm for over 20 years. Showing your age, by the way, with this bio.
Yeah.
Based on the principles of the Toyota production system, which he helped codify with faculty from Harvard Business School. In addition to his professional accomplishments, Andy designed a curriculum and taught a course for Stanford Business School, The Cultural Imperative, which deliberately aims to foster performance cultures. Today, Andy invests in and advises companies up to the twin challenge of doing well and doing good. I love that, by the way.
Thank you.
He graduated with an MBA from Harvard Business School, and earned his BA from Dartmouth College. And he is a proud single father by choice to his daughters, Finley and Tegan. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So we always start with an icebreaker. What is your coffee order? And I know this is going to be complicated. Everything with you generally is. So let me sit back. Let me sit back. What is it?
Okay. Well, this could be the podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, I live now in the burbs, so it's not so easy to run out to Starbucks. Used to be a red eye with oat milk.
Okay. For those who don't know what a red eye is.
It's a medium blend. Doesn't have to be medium blend, but it's a roast with a shot of espresso and oat milk. But now I add collagen powder and a little bit of olive oil, and then I do a pour over.
Uh-huh.
I use cardamom and a little bit of pinch of salt,
Wow.
and then oat milk. And my kids watch me do it and think it smells great.
Oh my gosh. And he's straight. For those of you who are wondering, he's straight. He has he's very straight. He has a very elaborate coffee production in the morning.
I do, but it's the consistent thing for as far as I can remember.
Okay, I love that. I'm gonna have to try that. You're gonna have to make it for
I will
me
do it.
because that is far too complicated.
I will do it. All my guests get it, and they so far, you know what? They sometimes boot the olive oil, but I think they're missing out.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I could drink olive oil plain, so
okay, good.
I'm in.
You'll like it. Okay,
I'm in.
Good.
But I don't have you here today to talk about this elaborate coffee production.
If we didn't lose everybody on my bio.
We're here to talk about your journey to becoming a single dad by choice. So I want to jump right in. I'm sure people have a lot of questions because I feel that there's a common misconception that most men who are single fathers by choice are gay. And that's probably true that the majority are gay, but you're not. And so how did you come to the decision to have your beautiful little girls who I know personally, and they really are adorable. I feel like we're going to definitely have to post a picture of them with your permission. How did you decide to do this on your own?
I didn't really think that hard about who's done it and whether it was appropriate that I do it, or how I stacked up against anybody else. I'm straight, I'm gay. I didn't really think about that at all. It was a time in my life where I had always I was always a family guy, and I always wanted to I thought I'd be a good husband and a good dad. And I spent a lot of years building a business, and I was in very far-flung places around the planet. and I had a really amazing first love of my life for 8 years, and I just never found something like that again to get married and have kids with.
I
And
don't think I knew that. And I also didn't say how we met. So I feel like this is important. So I don't usually joke around with my guests like I
Okay.
am with you. So people are probably wondering
Go for it.
why I'm so comfortable here. And so we met in a kind of funny way in the pool. So I met you without your shirt on the first time. And I remember very clearly.
Uh-oh.
I know. Uh-oh. I mean, this is sounding very.
It's better than my bio.
We're gonna get people excited. It's not that exciting, but we were in the pool,
Mhm.
and you were with
Finley.
Finley.
Mhm.
Yep, you were with Finley, who, by the way, is the same age as Sloan. And I was at my parents' development in Florida, as were you. And I pretty much knew everyone at this development. It's not that large, but I didn't know you. And I remember seeing you and thinking, this guy's obviously objectively good looking. And I had never seen you before. And I saw you with this adorable little girl, Sloan's age, and I thought, where's his wife? Like, I want to see what she looks like.
What I was asking.
I remember that whole trip. I was looking for your wife because I just was like curious. Like, she must be some beautiful woman. And at some point, we started speaking, and I learned that you didn't have a wife, that you had Finley on your own,
Mhm.
and we became.
Was that before Tegan?
Yeah, of course. The girls were.
Oh my gosh,
Maybe
time flies. Wow.
Yeah, maybe 2.5, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely was.
And I remember I was struggling to change Finley at the pool, and you looked at me like, dude, just do it. Just grab her and change your freaking diaper already. Like I was, anyway, you were very helpful. I appreciate it.
You are definitely well equipped to do this on your own. That's for sure. But yeah, we became friends from that vacation on, and then you had your second, Tegan. And how old is Tegan now?
Tegan just turned 3.
I can't believe it.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah. Okay. So I did not know that you had this relationship for 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't so much the length as much as I knew. Like, we were too young to be married, and she was off doing her thing and I was off doing mine, and we were just young. So that wasn't going to work, and we're still good friends today, and she's super happy and I'm happy for her. And but it definitely set the bar for me about, like, this is how I want to feel when I'm in a relationship with someone. And it was just hard to do when I was working, and I was in planes a lot. I was in big industrial places, and I was in Siberia for a number of years, and it was tough. I reached a stage where I always wanted to have kids with someone, but if it was so long in between relationships that I needed to take some action. And some friends of mine had put the sort of the seed in my ear a little bit, or like, hey, you should do this, and I didn't take it that seriously at the start of it.
Do this meaning embark on this journey.
Yeah, you should have a kid. You can.
And how old were you around this time? Like
I was probably 55.
Okay.
When like my niece and some friends were like, "You'd be a good dad," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I want to find someone." And then some things happened in my life, like, some of the work that I was doing. I just mentioned Russia, and it was harder and harder for me to go there, and so there was sort of an opportunity for me to rethink about, like, what was I going to do with my career? Do I want to continue have a consulting company to rebuild that in other areas. I've been doing it for 20 years, and there are other mountains for me to climb. So there was that moment of opportunity. I was in a relationship that didn't work out, and I'm like, gosh, when's the next one? So I saw this movie, The Way. Did you ever see it?
No.
It's a very good movie. Martin Sheen and Emilio Estevez directed it, and he was like a co-star, but he dies early. I'm not giving away the movie, but it was about walking the Camino de Santiago, and about kind of this spiritual journey. And I was like, oh, I need to do that. Like, is this my midlife crisis? But I went on this walk and asked myself, like, what do I want to do? And it became an obvious thing for me. I want to have a kid. And because I was presented this opportunity, because there's no downside in it, from my rocking chair, and I look back at my life, I know how I want to measure it. And it's not wealth. It's not my consulting company. It's some of the maybe the cliches, but I think cliches become cliches for a reason. And how much love can you generate and be a part of over your lifetime? Can you leave this world better than you found it? And I thought, building a family has to be a way of dealing yourself an ace, right, from your rocking chair. So, and I was at an age where most of the women that I'm meeting, it's sort of like appropriate, like that I have kids,
right,
because a lot of the women that I meet have kids.
Right.
So it's like more of like a Brady Bunch situation than, trying to start a family when you're past that time in your life. Not to say you can't do it. It's just more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided, let's try. And up until, honestly, the moment I got that call from Maria, the surrogate's husband, his name's Omar. Omar calls me and says, you better get down here. And I'm like, you said Monday. So I drove down to Virginia with my stroller still packed in my car. And I was during COVID. I literally walked out of the bathroom after racing, finding the room, washed my hands. And I'm like, okay, are you ready for this? And the doctor said, here, here's your baby. Here's the first feed. I had missed the delivery because of, it happened quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And boom, I was a
That's
dad.
it.
That was it.
That's it. You're a dad for life.
I'm a dad for life. Changed everything.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
How in an instant your whole entire life changes.
Yes.
And yet you didn't give it that much thought.
Okay, well,
I don't mean that as an insult, by the way. I say it to your credit. And we've had this conversation before, just to give some context, where I suggested that you join us on the podcast to share your story. And you were like, Brittney, what story? I don't have that great of a story because I didn't face so much adversity. And I said, that's fine. You don't need to have scars to show and obstacles that you overcame to get here. Like your story matters. And I want to, and I think there's a broader conversation that we have had, which is just your philosophy on life and your approach to decision making, which I find so admirable because I'm on the other side of the spectrum, as you know, very type A. You're type A too.
Yeah, but my sister is a lot like you in this regard. There was a number of months where I had to filter those calls because it was like, well, what if, and did you think about, and it's like, if you've already decided you're going to jump, why worry about the way down?
Right.
You're going, right? It's the right decision. You'll find out. Why worry about what won't happen? And if it's going to happen, why worry about it before it does?
In theory, that makes perfect sense. In practice, I think for most of us, it's really difficult to adopt that mentality.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so curious, how does this mentality transcend obviously this huge milestone decision to have children on your own, and how does that sort of manifest in different ways, like in your day-to-day life?
Well, I think I told you it's a practice to do that, to make a decision. And once you've made the decision, don't obsess about the decision or what if it. I did think about whether it was the right decision to make. And to me, it was like, this was an obvious thing to do. And I mean, I knew it was going to be hard. It's like, okay, well, what do I need to do? I'll do those things. And once I was prepared, that's it. Like, I'm going to do it. I've done everything. I've got my nanny ready. I've got the things in my car. I've got YouTube videos so I can figure out how to get the car seat set up in the hospital. Like, I can do this. I dropped it, and I was literally at a bar with some friends, not going crazy, but, I was at a bar with some friends when I got the call, better come to Virginia.
Wow.
But it was a practice in the sense, you asked me how it manifests in my life. I wasn't always like that. I was lucky enough to have a girlfriend after business school who kind of kicked me to the curb for not taking enough chances in my life. And I thought, I felt like a successful guy. And she says, no, that has nothing to do with it. You don't really sort of go for it and take enough chances. And, I was working for my father. I'd always wanted to work for my father. So I thought, I did, the business, it made sense for me at the time, but I hadn't really figured out my life. It was more like the life that I was supposed to lead, the schools that I was supposed to go to. And she was, knocking on my forehead going, I need to see more of you. And it was hard. It was a hard thing to hear, but I think she was right. And I'm like, okay, well, what do I really want to do? And it was hard at first to hear the voice back that says, this is what you want to do. But I kept searching and asking, and opportunity presented itself. And I just said, I'm going. And anything that I could do that was okay. Like, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to go to the hospital, right? Like, I mentioned to you, I didn't put my hand in a bag of snakes,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But I did, like, am I afraid to jump from an airplane? Like, I'll just do that. Am I afraid to drive a race car? Like, I'll do that. Am I afraid to go up and talk to that pretty girl? I'll just go do that. What am I afraid to do? And then, okay, I had an opportunity to start my business. I just did it. I didn't think it's like, I have to do this. This is part of who I need to be. So by the time it was, am I going to have a kid? I just knew it was such a no-brainer that this was the right thing for me to do. And of course, I'm not irresponsible. Like, if I couldn't have the family around me or the people that I needed to come to my aid when I needed it, I wouldn't have done it. Like, I'm not that.
That's an important piece here, because you are not a irresponsible person.
No.
You are very intentional with every aspect of your life, and so it's not like you just woke up one day and said, "The hell with it," I'm gonna have kids and
Oh my
let it
goodness.
rip. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But I love this sort of unapologetic clarity that you led with. You chose the dream over the script. And I think that's so motivational, because a lot of people are waiting for the right time, the right temperature, the right this, the right that. And
Yeah.
they feel like they don't have permission to just do the thing that they so badly want to do.
Yeah. You've asked me around this subject about what was the reaction to all of this. And I didn't pay attention to it. I avoided it. Like, I wasn't conscious of it. I was only conscious of, I don't really need to hear your opinion about it.
I'm laughing because I think that's your general attitude.
Okay.
Which is great. It's great. You really don't care much about.
But there are plenty of times I would come to you and say, Brittney, I need help. Right? And I do, and you're amazing. You'll give me great advice and help. But if it's a decision that I think is mine to make for my reasons, and I've made it, I don't need it nitpicked.
Yeah.
Right? I don't need, for a long time, I love my father, but he has his life. He chose his life. That's not the life that I want. So I can't trust his evaluation of the way that I'm living my own. And the idea of my having a kid by myself, like, that if I had asked around, I would have gotten a lot of like, are you sure you want to do this?
Right.
But I didn't care, you had your chance. This is mine.
Totally. All right. So you made up your minds. You're having your first child on your own. How did you go about getting this done? I mean, it must have been
I wish I had
somewhat...
known you then, right? It Sloan would have helped me tremendously because I knew nothing. And the resources that, I did, I don't want to use any names because I don't want to get anybody any trouble, but, I did what I would do. I would call like, oh, I'm going to go call a broker who's got the answers, and they're going to, they're like a white glove sort of service that helps you through this. And I made a lot of mistakes, and I didn't know they were mistakes, and I didn't apply like my own kind of critical reasoning and thinking to the situation. I'm like, I don't know anything about this. I'm going to go to that resource that is supposed to know,
right?
And I'm just going to follow what they tell me.
Because why wouldn't you, right?
In retrospect, it was dumb. Like I didn't go through the process that I would go through if I'm going to make an investment in something.
Well, it wasn't dumb because they were presenting themselves as professionals who have done this.
But I could have asked, like, well, what's their incentive?
Right. Well, that's a big one that we've spoken about. Yes.
What's their incentive? It's like, is it the same as mine? Are we really aligned?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer would have been a hard no.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, the first time I looked at the database of donors, like of eggs, it's like, wow, the pretty ones are expensive. The ones that went to great schools, they're expensive. Mm-hmm. They're the most expensive. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that process. Because obviously the girls are beautiful. So I'm guessing that looks was a priority for you in choosing an egg donor. And it's okay, by the way, to say that.
Okay. It was I made a bunch of mistakes, and I was very grateful to have made them because, so the first thing I learned was that somebody offers you a database. They want to get your money before they give you their database to access the database. But if you push back, you'll be able to see the database of donors
without
eggs without paying. Otherwise you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, you've got a finite number of eggs in your database. I might as well just go to, my local hospital.
My guess is 1 in 1,000 people push back and ask to see the database for free.
Okay, you can, right? You can if you just say, well.
A great tip, by the way, for the listeners.
Okay, and there are a lot of, you go to a city like New York, you're going to find a lot of great eggs, because they're, people in school, they want to help families, they want a little extra money. The trick there is befriend the nurses. Go get to know the nurses because there's a limit to what they can tell you, right? But if you, and I don't mean to do that in sort of like a manipulative, sort of dishonest way, but like, how do I do this? Like, be a little bit humble about the process, ask a lot of questions. So there was all these databases everywhere, and I, listening to my white glove guy, like it's obviously the ones that are the prettiest and the ones that went to the best schools are the ones you should pay the most money for. Mm-hmm. So I got all set. I got my egg, and she said, my donor, I should say, because it wasn't made yet.
Right.
And she said, no, I don't want to provide an egg to a single father. It was the first time I really was
devastating.
I was like, what? Why? It just, I was that naive about it.
It's so strange that she was even presented to you, because you would think that they would have filtered egg donors who were on board with providing an egg to a single dad by choice.
Yeah.
I mean, she shouldn't have even been presented to you.
Okay, well, she was, and that didn't work out. So now I'm back to square zero, right? Or square one. And that got me to thinking like, okay, let me just rethink this, right? And I had coincidentally done a little work for an IVF clinic in Ukraine. Coincidentally, years before, right? A friend of mine asked me, would you go look at their quality assurance program? And the science was like dead nuts. They were really good. And I don't know why I didn't think of this in advance, but I didn't, when I was looking at their process, it was all about genetics, right? Like getting the optimal genetics, but not the epigenetic part. Like you had surrogates and these high rises. They're like, oh, they all live there, and we give them all the best food, and they have all everything that they could possibly want. Like, well, where are their families? Where do they live? Mm-hmm. Like, why are you going to put these surrogates in a tower? And yeah, but that's the way we can monitor them.
Controlled environment.
And that's what most naive parents like, oh, I just want them to take good food. I just want them to do these things, right?
Yep.
So I realized, I'm out of here. This doesn't look right. So when I got home, I realized, okay, wait a minute. What really should I be looking for in a donor? And I realized that my white glove people that were working for me were pushing the expensive from their databases. That's what they wanted me to do, to buy the egg, right? And it made no difference to them other than selling the top dollar. Mm-hmm. But really, what I was interested in is, well, let me look at you're able to see a lot about the families. Like, are the grandparents still alive? What type of, sicknesses are there in the family? One of the things like, oh, you know what, like left brain, right brain families, like have both. I have an artist and a teacher and a scientist, or, I'm like, that's more important to me. And yes, I look for attractive, but I mean, it's a genetic roll of the dice. If you see this great supermodel and her sister isn't, right? She's a mishkite, or, she's... right, she's not. Then you're like, well, wait a second. I could just as likely get that.
Correct.
Right, so you're looking for like the family, not the one. Mm-hmm. So why are you pushing the one on me? Like, like I'm going to pay top dollar for the one. It makes no sense. Mm-hmm. So over time, you realize, oh, what really should I be looking for? And there were some characteristics now I'm looking for in an egg donor. Right? Have they done it before, or are they, their age, their left brain, right brain? There are a number of things like that mm-hmm. that I became my own advocate for. And then I ended up finding the right donor, but from a completely different database.
So interesting. I mean, most people, I don't think, are as educated on it as you were, fortunately, and they don't know what to look for. And they're just completely
But had I come to you at first, right, you would have said, Andy, like, that's nuts. You can't just dial up your kid. These aren't designer babies, right? Your donor gives you this. It's like, it's in there somewhere,
yep.
But there's a lot of little, possibilities that don't look like that.
Yep. Okay, so you find your egg donor, mm-hmm. and then you need a surrogate.
I need a surrogate. And again, I sort of tried and failed with my first surrogate. Then I did... maybe it worked for some people.
Well, let's take a step back. Mm-hmm. How did you find your agency?
It was the same white glove sort of agency for...
They're all in one. They do the egg donation.
Yeah, I mean, they were going to... But, again, it's like they just want me to get connected, have a kid, and be on my way and make as much money from me in the process.
Yep, move down the line.
As possible, right? And what are the types of things that I should look for was something I had to figure out on my own, right? It wasn't like, oh, here's really, really, the types of things that you should be looking for. Like, a simple thing like, well, how close do I want my, this is before I met, and shout out to Maria and Omar, if you ever hear this, I had the best surrogate in the world. I got very lucky, and, but before I'd even met them, I felt like how I tried an altruistic surrogate. what that is?
Yes, sure.
Of course you know what that is. Disaster.
Oh,
Yeah.
how so?
I don't, have to be careful because, it means I know her. She's still,
Okay.
it's like,
it's hard to find, by the way. I mean, it's got to be a very.
and be careful because it's like, oh, I want
I
to have
always warn against.
Good.
Always. It's a very good way to sour a relationship. And I based on your facial expression, I
Lord.
assume we are no longer speaking to this person.
For other reasons, but it's like we are not having a baby.
Right.
It's
this
like,
is not
what are
gonna be a
we
thing.
going to do for a baby shower?
Right.
Like,
right. And then all of a sudden she wants to plan the first birthday party.
Yeah. And then, she wants to explain to me the process of all the shots and this and that, like I got it. And I'm like, we're not married. Like this isn't, I don't feel like I need to be a part of this discussion.
Yes. And it's awkward because you have a personal relationship with this person, a pre-existing relationship.
Yes.
And so you can't really say like, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
I don't want this much communication or detail.
Okay. So that failure led me to a distance requirement for my surrogate. Like I wanted him close enough for a drive, but far enough that we're not talking about baby showers together and dropping in on a Saturday.
It's such a good point that you make because I felt the same way about my own surrogate. This was before surrogacy was legalized in New York, of course. So New York was not an option. But this is something that I share with my clients all the time. Like you need to think about proximity in terms of when you're close enough to get to a doctor's appointment on a regular basis, you can expect your gestational carrier to want you to come and to expect you to come. So think about that. Like if you don't want to feel obligated to go to all the appointments, which is fine, by the way. People are working, they have other kids, they have other obligations, or they have no interest in it, which is fine too. But if you're close enough, it becomes a little bit uncomfortable to not go. So it's a nice excuse to have some distance if you don't want to be involved in the sort of minutia of the journey.
Yeah.
So you found someone who was a good distance for you.
Yeah. I wouldn't have had the criteria without the mistake.
Right.
And because I didn't know it is Sloan ahead of time to tell me that's a criteria.
He's not being paid, by the way, for this, but this is great.
Well, I mean, these, your listeners, unless they've done it before, this is their first learning cycle, right? It's the first time you get to go through this. And as you go through it, you're going to be like, I wish I had known that, you should, why, if you have somebody, you just make sure they have the same incentive that you have and that they've gone through this enough that they know more about it and they're, where can they help you? So, whether it's, there's a doctor I want. Doctors are hard to get.
Totally.
Okay, so knowing somebody that can help you see a doctor is a big deal, right? And the time when you start and when you end, it's long, right? Somebody who can help you compress that time. Somebody who can, like me, waste a lot of time and money on stupid, right? So I could point to a number of different ways that had I known a service like this existed, it would have been a much smarter thing for me to have done. And I got very lucky because of the mistakes I had made, gave me the opportunity to redo. And I'm glad, somebody was looking out for me, that I was able to make those mistakes and, and it worked out. But like for the gestational carrier, I mean, the surrogate, I had no idea. Like they didn't tell me. Their advice was, you really want somebody who's done it before. Okay, right? That way they're not going to walk off with your baby and that they can carry.
Excuse me. That is the number one concern that people have when they consult with me. Is this person going to walk off with my baby? That doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't. I mean, there are so many legal protections in place now. It's a valid concern for someone who doesn't know the law, but it doesn't happen. It really doesn't. So this whole notion of an experienced gestational carrier is preferential for that reason, kind of silly. I think that it's preferential for other reasons, for the mental health aspect.
Right.
You know that this person is comfortable psychologically carrying someone else's baby and then separating with the baby, and being okay with that.
Right.
And you know sort of how she reacted thereafter and the relationship that she had with maybe previous families. But gestational carriers are not, for the most part, doing this to get a baby. They're doing it for the money.
Yeah. Yep. That makes, yep, I agree. But it would have been nice to get more, like, so, you know, what was my checklist the third time I went after this? I wanted a stable home. What does that look like? Okay, is the breadwinner of the house, have they been employed for a long time, right? Where you don't have to worry about, like, are they going to be in any financial trouble during your pregnancy? Are they happy, the couple?
Well, that's a difficult one to ascertain from a profile.
Well, you meet them, right? You meet them, and you know, before they meet you, you meet them.
Yep.
Are you a fit? And you know, is it, you know, when you interact with them, I mean, because to me it was like, what can I control and what can't I control? We spoke about this a little bit. Like, I'm not going to control what food she eats every day. I mean, it's nuts to think you're going to micromanage that. You can ask, and if she loves organic food from wherever, then great, lucky you. You know, you can see whether they have, you know, a healthy lifestyle, and whatever they tell you on the phone, you can't know for sure whether they're doing it anyway. I've heard horror stories about it. But what can you do? I wanted serotonin, right? I wanted calm. I wanted happy. It was like, these are the things that I could see from meeting and discussing with somebody that had a stable home. They had 3 kids actually at the time. She was like, loved giving babies, being pregnant, and loved the idea of helping someone like me have a family. And she lived the right distance away. And I thought, well, that's a good place to be for 9 months, right? That's a happy place to be. And then let go. Like, she liked me, we liked each other, and then let go, because there wasn't a lot I was going to do other than drive myself crazy or her. Oh, one other thing. I did ask her, what is it that you like that I can do for you during these next 9 months?
That's a great question.
Do you like massage? Do you like fruit? Do you like, what makes you happy? And so I would send, you know, like candles or fruit or massage.
It goes
every
such
once
a long
in a while.
way, by the way.
Just, you know, like, why not? Like, it was like, how do I make the womb a happy place?
Yes.
Well, to make the carrier, to the extent that you can, happy.
And those are tangible, relatively easy things to do to improve the journey. So you would send her candles, fruit,
massages, you know, gift baskets, that kind of thing.
That's lovely.
Thank you.
So you had a good experience.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Finley was born. And then, did you always know that you were going to have a second? Because I don't think, when we met you, you did not have Tegan yet. And I don't think that you mentioned wanting to have a second. But was that something that was always on your mind?
I didn't have a second. I think that the itch that I had and the reason that I had Finley, you know, it's a lot, you know, when pretty much everything in your life changes when you have a child. Like, you're no longer the center of your own universe. It's a hard thing to tell somebody. It's like not everything changes in a profound way, but everything changes at least a little bit, right? And some things in a profound way. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. I have my one. But I'm older. Her cousins are 20 plus years older. And there was no way I was going to leave this little girl by herself when I'm gone. So, I needed to give her a playmate, a running buddy. And so then it was, boy, girl. Like Finley was just potluck. I just told the doctor, put the happiest embryo you can find and, good luck. And
Oh, so you didn't know? Was it
No.
a surprise?
Well, I knew after the fact when I went to the sonogram and ultrasound and found out then, but I didn't know before. But the second one, it was, I want to have a boy. I played sports my whole life, and I wanted to So a friend of mine gave me some, advice about good advice, right? You know what it's like to be a boy. You're going to be a lot harder on your boy than your girl. Like whatever your girl does is going to be fine by you. I mean, it's like I'm mostly clueless about I'm happy with whatever she does. Like, yes, good one. But with a boy, I know I would be harder unintentionally, like it would be with love, but I'd be a little bit harder. And I'm like, well, for Finley, like what would Finley want? My nieces and nephew and my sister's side, there's 2 twins, boy and a girl, and an older sister. Everybody loves each other equally. They would tell you that. There's no favorites. But the girls know what each other are having for lunch, right? They're close. The boy, checks in. Right. Holidays come along. The girls make sure everybody comes home, and they're part of the the nesters. They make that happen. The boy happy to participate, happy to bring his girlfriend. Tell me where to be. He's more than that. Like he'll cook, he'll do these things, but he's not the instigator. The girls are, and I wanted her to have that running buddy who knows what she's having for lunch. They'll be together for life. And again, there's like, well, what if they don't like each other? What if? It's
I can't stand when people say that. They're like, well, there's no guarantee that they'll be close.
Right.
That has a lot to do with parenting, I think, and how you raise them.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that they'll be close, whether they're opposite sex, same sex. Who knows?
That's true.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. They might like it. Yeah, absolutely. But I got lucky. The kids they're very happy together, and
2 peas in a pod.
2 peas in a pod. And it's every single day when I see them, I'm glad that they have each other.
That's beautiful. I love that you had Tegan and Finley, of course. But okay, so
she runs the joint.
She's hilarious. She's a character. How have you explained, if at all, to the girls how they were brought into this world and how your family looks different?
You were gonna, yeah.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah. So I'm not pushing the conversation. Finley recently, the older one, who's 5, recently asked me, Daddy, whose tummy did I come from? And the first time I asked her, is pink still your favorite color? She's like, no, I like all the colors. Like rainbow? She's like, yes, I like rainbow, but I know yours is green. Just change the subject.
Correct.
Right? Like I didn't, I'm like, I want to make sure she really is interested in having this conversation. And
I'm shocked you did that.
Why?
That was a wrong approach.
Okay.
I'm calling you out right here, right now.
Uh-huh.
How old was she when she asked that?
This is not that long ago. She was like maybe just 5.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to.
So you were avoidant maybe because you didn't feel prepared.
No, I had my answer. I knew exactly how I was going to approach it, but I wanted to make sure that she wanted to have, like, was that a serious question? Sometimes your kids are asking you stuff, but they're not,
That feels serious.
Huh?
That feels serious.
Yes. Okay. Well, not that. She asked me again.
So was her favorite color still pink?
Her favorite color is rainbow.
Rainbow.
I said pink.
Okay.
She's rainbow. So she asked me not long after again.
Okay. So it's confirmed.
Confirmed.
This was
so now, okay, that was a serious question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm prepared to take this as far as she wants to take it.
Well, how did you answer?
I said that Daddy has a very special friend that I found, that she agreed to have you, in her tummy, and that's where you came from. And she's incredible. And one day you'll meet her. And I was like wanting to talk more about it. And she was sort of like, okay, thanks.
On to the next
Yeah,
thing.
bye.
Yep.
Like, now I know where I came from.
I think we have a tendency to want to overshare and fill the silence with our kids in particular. In general, actually, when there's silence in a room, where you're conversing with someone and there's a moment of silence, someone feels uncomfortable and then starts maybe oversharing or speaking when they don't need to. I think you and I are very good at not doing that. But with your kids, it's so easy to try to fill that silence because you have such insecurity. I'm speaking on your behalf, but I have insecurity that something is going on, the wheels are turning, and that's why there's silence, and she's processing something, and maybe she's processing it in the wrong way, and I've got to come in to stop that in its tracks,
Yeah.
But there's a great book, not that you asked for a recommendation, but I always love to give it unsolicited, The Kind Koala. And it is about a koala who carries another koala's baby in its pouch and is the surrogate. And it's a really, I find, easy analogy for kids to see the little koala in the pouch. And then at the end, this kind koala gives the koala to the parents. And I started reading that to Sloan before she asked about how she was brought into this world. But she asked very, very early on, like very sort of scientific, medical questions about how a baby is made. I mean, things that I was not prepared to answer at all. I don't know, they still
It's a New York school system.
Yeah, exactly. And also now that I'm going through a divorce, and so now we have this sort of in common in that we're single parents, she has questions about that too. And her friends have questions when they come over to our house for play dates, like, well, Sloan, why doesn't your dad live here? Where is he? When do you see him? Why is it always you and your mom? And those are tricky questions and issues to deal with at such a young age. But it has come up. I'll give you that warning now. It's definitely come up.
I sort of have the attitude about it that I'm unapologetic about all of it. And there's always a way to look at the situation in a positive way, right? In your situation, you're such a great mom. And it's about, like, it's similar in the sense that to mine, and it's families come in different shapes and sizes. There isn't normal family, right? I mean, yes, there's moms and dads, but very as often you find separate, like, or parents that are together but they don't agree.
Right.
I mean, that's terrible, right? Trying to raise kids where you don't agree on what to do and then you don't agree on how to do it. I'm very often missing my partner to have those conversations with, so you get like the diversity of the thought, but then when you come time to do something and execute, it's flawless because it's just you.
Right.
It's a consistent message. So you've got you and you've got this incredible family around you, and Danny's here and she's like super aunt, right, for you. There's a way to spin it that says, look, there's no normal. You've got this amazing group of people around you, and lucky you, right? Like you have, I mean, my daughter just got finished with her, the Thanksgiving with tons of cousins and aunts and grandparents, and spoiled rotten, bounced around from one knee to the next. This is your family. And then they come home, and then there's a Debbie and a Bethany, and this is your family. This is who we are.
For the listeners, Debbie and Bethany are your amazing nannies.
Mm-hmm. So I don't.
Who are more like family. I mean, I could confirm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But when the time comes, I'm not going to back into the conversation. Like, I wanted you by hook or by crook. This was going to happen, and I'm so happy. It's like the best decision I ever made, and you've got this incredible family that's uniquely yours.
Yeah.
Of course, like everybody's, where's my mommy? It's like, but you've got a Debbie. You've got a.
Well, I was going to say that question had to have come up, Andy.
Yeah.
Finley must have said to you at some point before turning 5, where's my mom? So
far, it's whose belly did I come from?
She has not mentioned mom.
No, but that's I have to answer it honestly, but at the level of a 5-year-old, right? I mean, what is a mom?
That's true.
Right.
You can have a biological mother
who's not a mom.
Not a mom.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's you have to be careful. You're talking to a 5-year-old.
Yeah, and they're not going to understand.
Here's your family. Like, what is it you're really asking me? Whose belly did you come from? That would be Maria. Maria's awesome. I can't wait for you to meet Maria. She lives in Mississippi, or you would have met her already. Where's Mississippi? Let's go look at a map. That's the end of the discussion.
And are you planning on introducing?
Definitely. I mean, we talked about that early. I would be pleased as punch, but that's a Finley decision, not me. If she wants to, and I can't imagine her not wanting to, knowing Finley and the situation, where she'd be, yes. I'm not allowed to speak with the donor in the same way. I don't have a relationship with the donor, but I do have an agreement that if Finley wants to reach out, she can.
That's also an important consideration when you're choosing an egg donor. Is this person comfortable with my future child contacting her?
It's sort of, I mean, in today's world, whether you check that box or not, they're going to find you.
So easy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the good or the bad thing about social media, right?
They'll find you.
Yeah. All right. So it sounds like your journey has been pretty smooth.
I mean, gosh, it's the hardest job. It's not smooth in that sense. I think every parent, I have hands to help, but it's hard. I struggle with every day. If I don't, we spoke about this too. It's like, if you got to take care of your oxygen mask, at least I do. I'm sure this is probably true for everybody. Like, know what your oxygen mask looks like. For me, it's sleep, food, and working out. Then I'm like on both feet, and I can deal proactively, constructively with what's happening in front of me. So when you're like, eat your food, get dressed, wash your hands, go upstairs, when you're tired and you're on the practical level, you just want them to eat their food, wash their hands, go upstairs, right? And you're not engaged with, well, this is actually, they're at an emotional conversation with them. Like, they're not really present to all of that. And if you're tired, you're going to do it wrong. And there's a lot of that. Like, I try and stay present and get all those things, but it's really hard. Like, I've had battles with Finley that I've had to apologize for, Tegan too,
You're human. We all have those.
But it's not easy. Like, it's hard. It really is hard. As an older parent, I think I'm able to be a little bit more present and reflective. I'm not in that like early stage of my career. I have more time. I make more time. I can walk into the room with a little bit more presence around them and purpose like I'm principled when I'm around them, like what I'm trying to accomplish and what I'm not. I'm not controlling them. I'm meeting them where they are, not where I want them to be, that type of thing. But it's not easy. Like there's certain things happened easier for me than I hear stories of people that have had kids. And, but it's daily work. It's just really rewarding work.
So rewarding. So how are you raising the girls? What's your parenting philosophy? I know it, but I want you to share it. Because you and I have very similar parenting styles. Who do you want them to become?
So before I had them, I asked people that I thought had really good kids, like kids that were, I thought like came from good homes. What were your top two what would you tell somebody who's about to have kids what to do with their kids? And it got me to thinking about like, okay, I want to capture these things and come up with my list of principles that I wanted to follow as a parent. Like what could I be purposeful about, remind myself about? And the two is actually from a Russian man who he ran a newspaper. He said, work hard to find out what's unique about your child. Like help them find out what's unique about them, not what you want, but what is truly unique about your children, and then love them for that. Not what you want them to be or what you wish they had or what they could become with that. Just love them for the thing that they love about themselves and what's unique about them. And I thought that was pretty solid.
Yeah.
And then, in my house, it's like we just sort of repeat certain mantras, like you leave it better than you found it. They walk into a room. How do you leave it better than you found it? You say hello, you say good morning, you clean up, you take care of yourself. You're not a taker, right? You're a giver. Leave it better than you found it. That's one. Another important one is we do hard things. I didn't ask you because you wanted to, Finley, right? This isn't a want to situation. We do hard things. It's the right thing to do. Now do it. And then you get to do what you want to do later. We do hard things in this house. And hard is what makes it worthy. Hard is what you will appreciate about yourself. Easy is kind of boring. Do you want to do that puzzle again? No. Why? Because you know how to do it.
Right. It's boring.
It's boring. So we do hard things. So, I've collected a lot of that. And I, sort of, this is where I get a little, stupid about it. I put Post-its up, and then my sister took all these Post-its and she made stickers. And I made a big picture above, this is actually above Tegan's, it was above her crib, of all of the things that I as a parent wanted to remember. So every time I would pick her up, I had a chance to remind myself about who I wanted to be.
I love that,
Andy. As her dad, and something that she could grow up with. There's a lot in there that wouldn't make any sense for her as a toddler, but like she could have that if she chose to in college. There are things on there that, that she could relate to at that stage of her life.
I'm going to adopt that. I think that's great.
It's easier to, for me to let go of like circumstances and more think about principles that I wanted, like meet them where they are. Right? Before you respond or react to, you react to your kid, where are they? Like what's happening for them now? Like, yes, your kid is crying because they don't want to eat their spinach, but that's not really what it's about necessarily for them right now. They could just be tired.
Right.
Right? You're an adult. You don't think, at least I'm like, eat your spinach, or like at least try it. But you have to know where they are first before you can deal with the situation. And I try and remember that my job is to lay out the train tracks in front of them if I think I can be helpful to them on their journey, not control the train. Like I can't stop it. And I don't want to stop it. I want them to feel empowered and that they're in control of their own life. But if I'm smart enough, I can redirect a little bit, right? Like, we should go upstairs. It's like, oh, I'll give them choices, right? Do you want to carry? Or do you want to go up like a bunny? Or do you want to race your sister? How do you want to go upstairs? And that accomplishes the objective better than having a conversation about why they should go upstairs.
I think that's a great balance between guidance and then giving them agency.
But it's, for me, it's so easy to forget, which is why I put the Post-its up on the things in front of me, because, you know, I could be thinking about work and I walk into the kitchen and the kids are being lunatics, right? That's a house.
Yep.
And so in that moment, what do you do? And so having, you know, just read, you know, the sign in my bedroom, you know, or, you know, that I have around the house, like, it's a reminder about, you know, meet them where they are, like what's going on for them first.
That's great. All right. I think we're going to leave off with that because we're out of time. I can't believe that we've spoken for an hour because it doesn't feel that way.
No,
at
never
all.
does.
It
Brittney.
never does. Whether we're here
Or in the pool.
Or in the pool or having overpriced olives. But this was so nice, Andy. I'm so appreciative for you sharing your story. I think you're going to inspire a lot of people and motivate people to do the thing they want to do and not wait to have permission or the right time to start their journey to parenthood. So thank you.
My pleasure. I enjoyed it.